suitable for younger audiences. Listener discretion is advised. Hello and welcome to People Making Statements. You guys are still muted. I apologize for that. You're not muted anymore. I disapologize for that. You're not muted. Hello and welcome to People Making Statements, brought to you out of beautiful Warren County, St. Louis County, and somewhere in South America or something. We're currently in storm mode. People Making Statements is a show about nothing and everything. We're currently in storm mode.
What storm are we waiting on this time? Because I don't remember one being called for.
We're always. This has been going on since 2018. We've been in a concurrent storm mode, and you've been concurrently drunk since 2018.
You are correct.
Anyways, those in Texas should expect to be blown off the farm, and if you're in the northwest portion of the United States, congratulations, you're thawing out. People Make Statements is not sponsored by anyone, but is currently accepting offers. We're talking to you. I'm just saying we're talking to you.
Is that empty?
Yeah. That's
right. Look at that.
Yeah.
You drunk all of it, huh?
I mean,
okay.
Brand new bottle.
It's not the only one that's empty in here. This one's the size of my head.
Speaking of people getting drunk.
No,
Jesus.
So what's new? Music's gone. I kind of like music in the background, though. It's a shame. Oh, what are we drinking today?
Tonight we are on some Maker's 46. The single barrel that I have is the cash strength that I bought. I can't find it anywhere else, so I'm not really drinking it unless I have a good reason. So I don't have a good reason tonight, so. But by good reason, I mean, I have Paris Hilton. Oh, no, I don't want crabs. I have Lindsay Lohan. Oh, I don't want STDs.
You're trash talking everybody.
You have one or the other, Dave.
Emma Watson in my car, in my bed. There we go. If I hadn't her in the bed, I'd be on that one.
Shit, which one's she?
Hermione from Harry Potter.
Oh. Yeah. Okay, I remember that show.
You would. No offense,
I saw an episode of that show once, I think.
I would happily break her. It would be. She is an absolutely gorgeous woman. I would treat her
break her
like a woman.
I'm glad.
When I say break her, I mean
glad
that
I
means
played that
taking her to
clip
the
right
hospital.
as we started. Jesus.
I mean taking her to the hospital.
I mean treating her like a lady, taking her to a nice fine dining establishment, and making sweet, sweet love to her in the most pleasant and wonderful way that she would enjoy.
So guys,
I'm sorry if that was deafening.
I mean, what?
So guys, before anybody goes anywhere, this is going to be a term that I'm going to use. It's called cap. That means someone's lying. So I'm going to go ahead and call cap on Brow because he's capping right now.
You have no idea what that meme is at all, do you? What I was doing was a meme. It is a running joke, and basically it's a way of making it sound like you are going to be really nice to a girl. In reality, what you're talking about is doing the absolute dirtiest, nastiest things you can with her. It's like calling a short person tall or a fat person skinny.
Are you going to toss a salad?
I would toss her salad. Are you kidding me? Her butthole, I would lick the shit out of her butthole.
Wow. Okay, back to you, Spur.
I'm glad this has been marked for adults. I mean, then again, all I was going to talk about was Uranus, so.
Oh.
Are we talking about Uranus, Missouri?
No, like the planet Uranus.
So back to what we were drinking. I'm drinking Powerade. I got some nice cold H2O over here because, why not?
Right on. Yeah, we've got some. This is a little Wild Turkey 101, the usual, the easy. Buck. Thank you, Buck, for introducing yourself, by the way.
I didn't see the chat.
No, I know Buck is Buck, not as that, so.
This is my kind of combo.
Well, if I knew that was Buck, I'd know that. So.
Man, you have no idea. If you haven't listened before, I've got stories. I've got stories about my sister that we call lovingly Brow's whore sister because that's what she is. She's a whore.
There's no lie there.
No. I don't really have any brand new content to speak of. I do have a little bit of an update when it comes to the whore, and it's not much. It's just that she's attempting to buy the childhood home of ours that we grew up in for my parents for $120,000. And when I found this out, my first reaction was, yeah, I wouldn't want to sell that to anybody else. You don't know how many times she's had guys dicking her down in the asshole in all the parts of that house.
Wow. It's amazing how many times you watch that. So
I don't watch it. I just kind of assume.
How the hell do you know? That's the question.
Because she has 3 crotch goblins. She has 3 fully baked cream pies that like to tell shit to everybody.
She is fully... Oh, that's right. That's right. The cream pies. I thought you were fully baked. Okay, I get it. All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
There you go.
Sorry, I got the.
I thought you meant cream pie as if it was already there, like it hasn't been baked yet.
Fully
like,
baked cream. Fully baked.
Fully cream pied.
Fully baked cream pie.
Burke, her name is Brow's horse sister. That is the name I will be giving out. Beyond that, nothing.
Now, I mean, usually it's a bit into this that we actually get into Brow's horse sister, but do we have an old favorite now? Brow, we didn't discuss this with you. We're gonna start. This is technically episode 1. We did enough 0.1. We did enough 1 bourbon, 1 soda, 1 beers to get things somewhat in order. I'm still doing everything from the start. Brow, being my engineer, is not yet engineering, but gets the title because it was the past title and it's the future title as well. Maintaining. Maybe I should add that. Yeah, let's do that. So maybe
wow. Here we go.
Maybe we have a past story that you can tell.
Okay, past stories. Which Goldie Oldie would you like to hear today?
How about the fun one? How you got caught or how she got caught in your bedroom.
How you got caught in your bedroom. Oh, that's not an interesting story. Come on now. All right, how she got caught in your bedroom.
I mean,
we kind of already gave the story away.
Yeah, so basically, for those of you that are listening out there that don't know this story yet, I was in high school as a freshman. My older sister, Brow's horse sister, was a senior. I had football practice after school, and my father would pick me up from school and bring me home after practice. So I had a nice hard practice at 2+ hours after school running
hard.
That sounded bad considering the conversation.
Yeah, exactly. I come home. I go into my bedroom, still wearing my leg pads, carrying my shoulder pads and my jersey, and my helmet. I walk into my bedroom, which has a nice water bed, which was given to me because no one else wanted it, and I was forced to take it. I walked in,
take it.
And I just noticed it was, there's a person that is not anyone in my family laying there with his face out of the covers. And I go, what the fuck is this? I know him. He's a football player. No, he's a Mexican. He is laying there, got the happy face on, and I look at the covers and I see around the crotch area something bobbing up and down, and I'm like, well, either he's really happy and erect at being in my bed, which is fucking weird, or someone's under there. I go and tell my father to find out that it is my sister giving a guy a blowjob in my bed. And this idiot that she's given the blowjob to was on the varsity football team, so I had to work out with him on some occasions.
She was being the hero.
Yeah, it was not fun.
She's trying to get you a little back.
She was saving lives.
She was swallowing
lives. She was okay. She was swallowing children. It's a horror movie now. Oh my god!
That's not even. That's the oldest Goldie Oldie with her. I mean, you also have the time where I found out that her nickname was Deep Throat in high school, in detention from another football player telling me about that situation.
I have so many things to click during this conversation.
Oh man, I'm so friggin' horny.
She also did hit on Spur several times trying to get in his pants, but she never got his.
That was back in the
his
day.
Tootsie Roll.
So did she ever get like a Christmas present like Vaseline, for the throat?
I don't know. I gave her other ones that were like, itch be gone.
Itch be gone. Oh no! Oh,
Am I a nice person? Not all the time. Do I find humor when I can? Yes, I do. Let's see. There's the more on the recent side with Brow's Horse Sister. You have the time where
This is the Browse Horse Sister
douchebag-
Marathon, episode 1.
yeah, exactly. You have where she attempted to save a douchebag who kidnapped her child on Mother's Day, drove him to Illinois to get drugs because we were in Missouri. Drove over to Illinois to get drugs. Drove back. Then got into a
I'm
fight with
taking
her.
notes.
Drove back with him and got into an argument that like a couple of weeks later to where he put his fist through a single pane window, cutting his an artery in his arm, nearly dying, and my mother standing over him saying, "Let the motherfucker bleed out," as EMS is attempting to save his life.
Wow.
That was the jockey. That one.
I remember that exact
That
quote.
wasn't-
Like, I know I've heard this multiple times, but just that quote specifically gets me every time.
Let the motherfucker bleed out, is what she said.
Yep. My mom and I are too similar. We don't sugarcoat shit when we don't like people. We let you know, hey, you're a fucking asshat and we don't like you.
By the way, if anybody, while taking a look here, wants to come up with some wonderful design for our big old black empty space here. Now, I'm talking about the sorry Tim, I'm talking about the page. Not, I know I was pointing in your direction there, but
I was wondering because I was like, "What do you mean, you people?" and pointing at me.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. That you pointing at Lockhart like that, saying this black empty space, that was fucked up, man.
Yeah. Wow. You're lucky we're friends. I would have just had to drive to your house. You have to wait 45 minutes for an ass whooping. Anyway.
down there in South America, I think. I don't know. I can't remember.
Oh, give me a minute. I can be there in about an hour.
I don't know.
Definitely.
Those stores are chasing.
Keep that in mind, Buck. Well,
Oh,
Brow's
man.
Horse Sister.
But those are just some of Brow's Horse Sister stories that I have. I have tons of them, and if you guys want more, by all means, let us know.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
we may be recapping a few of them. Of course, I do totally expect some fresh ones next time. So work on that for us. Make your sister
can't-
do hoary things.
I can't make her do hoary things, and I have to ask my niece and nephews
Yes, you can.
when the hoary
All
stuff
you have to
happens.
do
that's
is
the bad
unzip your
part.
pants.
All right, fine. All right,
they're
Lockhart,
children.
fine. I'll give her your number, and you guys can do whatever nasty thing you want to do. 50-50 shot, you get something, though. 50-50.
Make
That's
sure
maybe
you tell her
70-30.
kids.
All I'm
'cause
going
her
to say
kids are
is
who
you can
tells
go ahead
Sprout.
and give her my number, but she'll be outside my place doing whatever she wants to do by herself. That's it. Yeah.
Oh, no, she'll find a way in.
Not unless she wants to go to
You're like
jail.
fucking Spidey crawling up that wall.
You kidding me?
That's how. That's her.
She's like the girl from The Ring. She'll come out your goddamn TV somehow.
For free, yeah, probably for free, Buck. Just send your Buck's way.
Wow.
It's a minor drive, I promise. It's not that long.
Wow. That's
Like I
a
said,
scary
Buck,
movie.
70-30, you get something.
Scary movie too, where the comedian sees the movie from The Ring, and the girl comes out of the TV, and he ends up smashing her in the bed. It puts a Puts a paper bag over her head and just starts hitting it. Yeah.
Oh, that was Scary Movie. Oh, that wasn't the first one.
It was 2, wasn't it?
No, 2 was the strong hand one. Oh no, it might have been 2 with the strong hand one.
I
There's
think I've
either
only
2 or
seen
3.
one of them, and it was not an early one.
Yeah, I think it was 2. It was 2 because then he complained about having crabs after the fact, ghost crabs or some shit. I don't know.
And then you have the more recent one. I think it was 4, maybe 5, where they have all these like the aliens are coming in, and all these like gangster rappers type people roll up, and then one scuffs another one's shoe, and all of a sudden you go from an army trying to fight this alien invasion to them shooting each other, and it's like, oh damn, but I hate these kind of crimes.
Wow.
And they have the Jigsaw puppet rolls in, and he had sex with one of the characters, and he's like, "Oh shit, that's how I got crabs."
I'm picturing that, and that's just creepy. Lockhart, what you bringing us today?
So this is what I want to talk about. What the hell is binary?
Like coding, binary coding,
No.
We're okay.
binary
No.
trigger,
No.
Yes, triggers.
No.
Triggers.
binary.
Yeah, well, it's a
mathematics.
trigger it's
It's
definitely a
not
trigger
this.
for some people. So here's what I want to talk about, and I already know some people are already like, "You really was going to go there?" Yes, the fuck I am. I'm going to ride the boat. So
I
apparently,
can remember
there's
the
this,
difference
there's
between.
this thing.
I remember which one's which. Go ahead, tell.
It's this
tell.
thing
I'll
where
remember eventually.
people are not no longer a man or a woman. They're whatever.
Oh,
they're
you're talking about people that feel that want to be called they them and are non-binary individuals.
There
Yes,
you go.
I
What is
actually
going on?
work with.
Explain that. Explain that.
So
for me.
basically, they don't feel like a man and they don't feel like a woman. They don't feel masculine or feminine. They just feel like a human. So they chose to be binary, non-binary, which is more often than not they are asexual or pansexual in that particular instance as well. Only reason I know this is because
Explain pansexual, because I know what asexual is. Asexual is you have no desire to have sex with anybody else. Period.
Yes.
What's pansexual?
Well, hold on. Before we move to
Pansexual-
that, Buck brings up the language. Binary believes in male and female. Non-binary believe in more terms. I don't know if that's the what I'd go with. I think I think I would, and I think many others would consider they are, it's not a belief thing. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm wrong, but binary is
Well, it's
one of
definitely
two
a
things,
belief.
ones and zeros. No, you've got binary ones and zeros. I'm male. I'm
That's
female.
computer talk. We're not
That
talking
type
about
thing.
that.
well, no.
Right? No.
Male
Before
female
we
is
move
also
that.
binary because
And
you
then-
either a male, which
Right.
is a 1, or a female, which is a 0.
Which
And
all
there's
three
no
of
ifs,
us,
ands, or buts.
we
And
would
that's a
consider
binary
ourselves
part.
male. Now, if somebody wants to consider, I consider, I'm male. If somebody wants to consider themselves anywhere else, have at it. I'll call you what you want. If I make a mistake or if I fuck up, hey, yeah, don't call me that. Call me that. Cool. I'll call you that. I don't care. That's up to you.
and I work with someone, or I used to. I don't work with them anymore because they work during the day and I work in the overnights. But I worked with someone, and they are non-binary. They are pansexual. Pansexual means you're not attracted to the parts that the individual has. You're not sexually attracted to the parts. You're sexually attracted to the person, like whether they like how they are attitude-wise, emotionally, and all that.
Okay.
stuff.
So pansexual. Do those people have sex? Yes or
Yes.
no?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Okay. So what about a person who's saying that they're binary? Do they have sex? Yes or no?
Binary is
Binary is male,
determining
female.
what gender you are. It can also be gender fluid is another thing you can potentially be. You have male, female, bisexual, or male, female, transsexual, non-binary, gender fluid, which means that some days they feel like a man, some days they feel like a woman, and they just move back and forth. Actually,
So what have you had? Mhm. Go ahead.
What-
Go ahead. Well, I was going to ask.
Lando Calrissian from Star Wars series. He is considered to be non-binary, gender fluid, and he is also pansexual.
So
You can
are you raised being this way, or are you
no
like do you,
no.
are you this way from the beginning of time when you come out the womb, or are you
For some people, yes. It's like gay or straight or bi or whatever else you want to call
okay?
it.
So then
Anybody on the
that's-
LGBTQ+.
Well, and with
Okay.
that being the case, consider the fact that a lot of people, or not a lot, a lot of people who are gay may have never realized that until high school or post high school. It's something that comes to like they go on trying to follow the norm, and they're like, something's wrong. That's not actually what I like. And all of a sudden, one of my best friends from high school. I mean, maybe I never had a discussion about it, but through high school, I never thought twice because he was just my friend. I didn't give a fuck what he was. He wasn't hitting on me.
Okay,
Yeah.
so so you can be born with it, or you can make the choice to become that. What happens if you have a child with it? Now, is that child also binary? How do you know
No,
that?
so
really
everyone determines
passed on
it's
the issue.
basically binary, non-binary people, gender fluid, gay, straight, all of those. they choose that option. That's because that's how they feel.
Okay,
They are sexually attracted to this person, or they're sexually attracted to that person, or when they were born, they didn't, when they were growing up, they didn't feel like they should be locked in just the male
right
category, or they should be just the female category. It's literally just how the person feels. And
I totally understand what you're saying. So, right. With that being the point, with that being the point. Hold on, let me make my point. With that being the point. How come? So, what do you put on the birth certificate when the child's born?
You still go with. Currently, the practice is still to go with what the genitalia of the child is when they are born. So, if the child is born with a penis, it is a male until that child grows up and develops the mental capacity to determine, hey, I don't feel like a male. I am not
exactly.
A male.
Exactly. They've determined on their own, right? So, why are the hospitals why are they not making the rapid change to support binary then thinking?
To support they've
always done binary thinking. What you're asking is why haven't they made the change to non-binary? And
non-binary. I'm sorry. Yes.
The simple reason for that is because an infant, a brand new baby, cannot make the determination of how they feel. They cannot word it in a way that we can understand.
But the parents can.
But the parents aren't the ones that make the decision on that. It's not the parents' decision on how someone feels or is.
So then there's a such thing as a parent telling me that my kids are not are still non-binary, and so when they tell me that, that's incorrect, right?
That is correct. I mean, it is not anyone else's determination on how someone is when they are older and of age to make that decision.
Okay, so just because they have kids, those kids are still boy and girl until the boy and girl, when they get of age, want to be whatever they want to be.
Yeah, here's my thing with it. I've got to take my child to the doctor. We go to the doctor, female. That's it. That's what's important. Once she's old enough to deal with doctors and all this other, everything's on her. But my concern is on health and welfare, well-being. That's it. So long as everything's good and I convey that information right and everything's good, then that's my only concern. Now, whenever it comes down to things like, my baby is non-binary, it's not he, it's not she. It's a baby.
Yes,
and you got to call.
And I've got a feeling I know who he's talking about in this particular instance.
We all do.
and in that particular case, there are individuals that are raising their children in a non-binary fashion, which means they are not going out of their way to find clothing and toys and stuff like that.
Honestly,
so
I in my house we don't it's not something I have a daughter, a girl, whatever. We get toys for her. I'm not going for anything. I'm not going for specifically.
Right,
but I wouldn't be worried about
between you and this other person is that you're not making it such a big deal to where you are having some sort of identity crisis. Where this person,
I'm purely independent in the process of my child's life. I'm here to make sure she's healthy, survives, and is happy.
Right.
That's what I'm here for.
But and you're not making the identity issue make it more about that than her actual happiness, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I was paying attention to this little white spot right here. I think it's my green screen fucking up.
Okay, well, no one noticed that until you pointed it out. See, what would tell you about pointing to that black space again? And then I'm literally right there, and you're pointing at me doing this, and you're licking shit. Don't do that.
Oh man, I'm so friggin' horny.
Okay, wow.
Hey, Lockhart. Trying to make shit awkward.
I knew you already are awkward.
Fucking right, I am.
Much. Anyway, so.
Don't be mad that I get more than you. It's okay.
I just want to know why this whole binary thing or non-binary thing was such a big deal and people coming out. You know, Demi Lovato, she's hot and all that.
Demi
And she
Lovato
came
is
out-
a they them. They prefer not to be called she or her, and they are they consider themselves non-binary.
Right.
Oh,
They,
okay.
Not,
well,
not
on this
she, they.
platform, my bad, whatever. I'm gonna call her her. What's she gonna do about it? She gonna come to my house and beat my ass? I don't care.
At that point,
So-
do you have to say it? I'm gonna call it her. Is that
No,
the
it's
proper-
still
Or
they
the-
them. From what I've been
They-
what
Call
I've been
they?
informed of,
I'm gonna call they.
So
they
she's
or
too-
them.
It sounds
I'm gonna
like
call them that.
it so
they.
sounds like.
They're still
What do you
missing
have
words.
that psychological problem? What's it called? Like multiple. What is it?
Multiple
DID,
personality disorder.
dissociative identity.
That's the proper
Yeah.
term. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me. Let's
Which,
normalize
speaking on
that.
that, DID,
Normalize that.
DID, they are trying to normalize it a little bit, or at least Disney is. Disney Plus has a new show called Moon Knight. I don't know if you guys have watched
Jesus
it,
Christ. Go on.
but it is based on a comic book character who has DID.
His outfit looks cool. I like his outfit though. That's about
Which
it.
one? Are you talking about Moon Knight or are you talking about Sir Knight?
Okay, I'm talking about Moon Knight when it's all white.
No, that's just it. So Moon Knight, he
Stand
has
for
his armor, battle armor, which is like an ancient Egyptian armor type thing, which is all white as well. And then he has Sir Knight or Mr. Knight, or I forget what the exact name is, but he's wearing a tux and he has the white mask on with the white glowing eyes and the crescent moon in his forehead. It's amusing. So I don't know how much of you have watched, but in the comics, Moon Knight, the guy that is Moon Knight, he has a total of 3 personalities in his head. Well, actually 4 if you count Khonshu, which is the ancient Egyptian god that gives him his powers.
Mark Spector and
Eh.
Steven something.
Mark Spector, Steve something, and I forget what the third guy's name is, but the third guy is the
Apparently the
most twisted
least
of them.
important.
Well, no, he's really, really violent, and
Feeling science. The fuck
Yeah.
is feeling science? All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
but yeah, Mark Spector is considered the main alter. So like that's the body is originally was born Mark Spector, and then Steven and the other one came about from trauma. Usually is what happens. Steven is a British gentleman, and he works in a museum. And the third alter is a taxi driver who is kind of like Robert De Niro in the movie Taxi Driver, where he just kills for fun.
I don't know. I don't like that description of taxi driver. Was it taxi driver or just taxi?
No, I think it's Taxi Driver because Taxi is the Queen Latifah,
Yeah.
Jimmy Fallon movie where
Okay.
she magically has a taxi that she presses a button and changes out the steering wheel, and it goes from a normal Crown Vic to a NASCAR Crown Vic ready to run.
Okay, anything that Queen Latifah does from 2008 on up sucks. Let's move on.
That was probably before 2000.
I don't know about that. The Equalizer with her as the main actress in that is actually pretty good.
Really? She was better than Denzel Washington? Really?
Well, you're talking about two different
Really?
movies. You're talking about a movie versus a TV show. No,
come
it
on
is
now,
completely
come on
different.
now. Come on now. Come on now. Come on. Knock it off. Really? You think
That's
she's
2000
better- you think
Just want to say that was a 2004 movie. Okay.
Yeah, that was pre 2008. So good try there.
I don't
Another good one.
I don't care.
What was that movie called? There was
I don't-
another one
I
where
don't-
she gets mixed up. Her medical diagnosis gets mixed up, and she thinks she has a brain tumor that she's gonna die in a couple months. So she spends all her money, goes to this fancy ass French chateau, and just to try this one chef's food, and that's a good movie. It's a feel good movie, and I am totally becoming a woman right now with this movie because that's
Wow.
one of my favorites.
I am way
All
out
the
there on
sugar is-
movies. The movies
all
I
the
don't know
sugar
well
is leaving
enough.
my body.
I don't remember movies well enough. There's only 10 movies I really know well. And
You know, Waiting.
well, yeah, it was my first
Waiting
date
was
with
a
my
good one.
wife.
Didn't you guys come in to our work after that and look at me like?
No, not after, because we left. We split ways after. She took her.
I mean, after you've seen that movie,
she drove the Tornado home,
not just
and
that night, but later on.
All right. So I want to bring up something new. Have you? There's apparently, to change the subject into dating night movies and waiting. Okay, we're gonna go into the whole cop effect thing. What the hell happened in Michigan?
It's only been like 17 years since I've dated. So,
Michigan. What happened in Michigan? Yeah, what do you mean, Michigan?
And well, apparently there was this cop that pulled over a person who was black, and he went to he pulled him over because the car, I guess he ran the light or the plates expired, one of the two. And the guy got out of the car. He looked at him funny, and then he said, "Hey, stay next to the car." And the guy was like, "No." So he went to detain him, and the guy started wrestling, and so the cop started chasing him, and he finally got a hold of him. And then the guy, he tried to taser him, and he missed when he tasered him. So I guess
I think I know what you're talking about. Is this the one where the cop ended up shooting the guy in the back of the head?
Yes,
at point blank range.
Yes.
Okay, so now, in that particular instance,
let me throw in first, because I didn't watch anything. I read a news story. I read a news story just a little bit ago. I think it was more or less just about trying to get more information on it or something. And honestly, and this article was from AP. It really it just involved so little information. The camera was shut off in the course, and I think that may have been one of the main subjects of it, the fact that the camera was shut off mid-struggle. Whether that's a camera issue or whether that's it was shut off before the shot was fired. Let's put it that way.
That's okay. All right, that's fair.
But that's fair. It kind of came down to, is that a camera issue, is it a design issue, or did the officer shut it off? That type of thing, and what's the probability of each? And honestly, like, the substance to the stories that I found on it, that I looked up in the short amount of time that I did, I probably spent no more than 15 minutes looking through this. There was not a lot of information. So I am curious to hear more, or find out more. But it sounds like
I've got more information on that.
Before you go, bro, I just want to say this: when he got hit, when the gunfire went off, it was off camera. Okay, so we don't know if this guy reached for his weapon or not. All I know is the house across the street has it on recording for the whole thing. I was unable to find that video. What I was able to find
it's gonna be hard to find that one.
His camera and the camera from his car, and that's it. The car is even more limited because it's parked in the street. So anytime they ran across the car, that's all you saw. But when he was struggling on his camera, of course he was fighting him. He was overpowering the cop. So I would like to know the breakdown, which Browse going to give us, and then I also want to know, is this legal, or what are your thoughts on that? What are you guys thinking? That's what I want to know.
You got somebody shot point blank in the head. That sounds like they weren't armed, although I did read that during the video it was seen that the person grabbed the taser at one point. That's all I know. So
there is a YouTuber, and I'll post it in here in just a second. I'll post it into our little thing. There's a YouTuber named Donut Operator.
Oh, Donut.
He has the full video and breakdown of what he saw. And in the video I watched of him of this incident, basically what came up was the individual was being stopped for a plate that didn't register to that vehicle. And before the officer was able to get out of the vehicle, the driver of the vehicle immediately jumped out. The officer got out and said, "Hey, stay in your car, stay in your car." Kept telling him, "Get in your car, get in your car." And the guy didn't. The officer said, "Hey, it's really unsafe for you and really unsafe for me. If you jump out the way you did, it can lead to something bad happening, and I don't want that to happen." The officer goes, "I need to see your license and registration." The individual was from South Africa, I believe, because he had a real
I do know they were not U.S. native.
Yeah, and he had an accent, and you could hear it. And the officer goes, "Do you have ID?" And the individual said, "Yes, it's in the car." So the officer said, "Okay, go and get it." And so the suspect opens the car door and says, "Give me the ID." And before he gets the ID for the officer, the guy shuts the door and decides he wants to run. The officer calls it in. Says, "Hey, suspect is running on foot at this location." The officer is able to tackle him down before he can get too far, and he tries to take him down fully to get him in handcuffs. He attempts to use the taser, and only one of the two prongs enter the individual's body. So the taser is ineffective.
Ineffective.
While they're struggling and the officer's trying to get his hands behind his back, he gets the taser out of the officer's hand. Now, even though the taser had been fired, it can still be used and dry tasing. Basically, you just put it against somebody's body and you pull the trigger, and it actually tases them. So the officer was afraid for that to happen, and he kept saying, "Let go of the taser, let go of the taser." And in the struggle, you're watching the video. The officer's hands never go near his body camera, and it goes off. Now, the rest of the video that I posted, you see from two different angles. One is from the officer's cruiser, and another is a phone camera that was being recorded from just on the other side of the street. And the officer kept yelling. You can hear the officer keep yelling, "Let go of the taser, let go of the taser." When the officer felt that he was no longer in control of the taser and at risk of being tased, he pulled his gun out, put it at the back of the guy's head, said, "Let it go, let it go." You can't tell if the guy's making an motion to use the taser against the officer. You can't see anything like that. The angle's not good enough on either video to see what happens then. The officer then fires one round, killing the individual immediately. Do I think it's justified? Not 100%. I don't think in the civil case it's justified, but in a criminal instance, yes, it is a justified shoot, only because the officer was in fear that the individual was going to use the taser on him and have easier access to the officer's firearm. Again, that's a really big stretch when it comes to civil liability. Criminally, it's easier to argue that was the case.
Yeah, I've got limited capabilities here. Lockhart, are you able to get what he sent us in private and put it over into the actual chat for the YouTube?
I can put it in there too.
Yeah, go ahead and put it up there because if you got it up, go ahead and slap it in there. I don't mind going ahead and linking another YouTuber shit in. Yeah, Donut, I'm familiar with him, and yeah, I like his shit for the most part. I trust it. I trust his opinion. That's really. I trust. He has a good what's the word? His moral compass is there. Moral compass.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, even he says in his commenting of the video, he's not 100% if it's a good shoot or if it's not a good shoot.
And he's one of those guys who's kind of like on the borderline. If he says it might not be a good shoot, you're really, really looking at a possibly bad shoot. But that's the thing. He's a good judge of it, and I mean that's my opinion of his breakdowns of things.
So, for my answer, as far as this being justified, I don't know.
It's really gray. Just from what I'm hearing.
I don't know because here's the thing. I have a couple questions. Like, where was his backup at? That's one, because he was obviously being overpowered. He called it in. His backup was how far away to get there?
And most of the time, when it comes to backup, most of the time when they tell you in a police academy, your backup may be 5 minutes away, but in reality, they're closer to 10 to 20 minutes away.
Yeah. Well, either way, it's like, still questionable. And then two. Hold on. Well, and then two, it's like, I don't know. I don't see, because from what I remember reading or seeing, the taser missed him and never actually hit the guy. So
Well,
he missed when you
that-
fired the
you could-
taser. That's
You can consider what Brow described as a miss. It's one prong hitting. One prong does nothing. That's a miss. So
Okay,
it,
well,
it didn't
well,
make
either
any
way-
contact in which it would have done anything.
well. Either way, well. Here's my question: If so, the only way that to get rid to really neutralize that guy was to let him fight him.
Okay, let's put this in a different optic. Okay, let's say the officer, instead of using his firearm to stop the threat, he pulls out his collapsible baton and he starts beating the individual with the collapsible baton. That looks way worse, especially if it's enough of a beating that it causes any sort of permanent brain injury or a brain injury of any kind. That looks worse. If he pepper sprays it, if the individual is on some sort of drugs, he's more or less actually hurting himself than he is the suspect.
Well, and I respect your opinion, but I don't know if I agree about it being worse. But what I will say though is that I'm not saying I'm on either side. I'm just saying.
The only reason I say it
like
would be
to
worse
see-
is because look at the Rodney King
I would-
situation. Sorry,
I
I don't know
would-
if we lost Lockhart or not,
I hear him.
Oh, okay.
because his
I-
video just kind of stopped.
Okay.
Oh no, I see everything just fine.
I
Everything's
just,
good.
I just
Burr,
would
can
like
you hear
to
me?
see.
Yeah. Oh, I think we may have lost Brow.
No, he's here. I can hear everybody.
Well,
Everybody's here.
yeah, we can hear him, but I don't think he can hear us right now.
Oh, okay.
Maybe he can
So
relog.
what?
There you go. He's gone. He'll be back.
So what I'm trying to say ultimately is, what I'm ultimately trying to say here is, I would like to see the video from across the street, and then determine
Yeah.
what's what from there. But
Yeah.
it sounds like it's justified to some degree. So if a guy's if a cop's being overpowered, the biggest
Well,
thing you're gonna be concerned about is your safety at that point. And if
Yeah.
and that's
And-
just point blank.
And
So
that's a survival instinct thing. That's like, okay, I need to survive. So like that's whenever you look at criminal versus civil. That like he made that distinction, criminal versus civil. Okay, in a criminal case, not won't be found guilty because everything he was doing was in reality, as things are happening. You have to think criminal case doesn't take a cop into a situation. It takes your average person into a situation. Would they be in fear of their life? And that's
they would be.
so that's what you're in a criminal case. That's what you're looking at. So
Right.
that's the only way to define it. You don't you don't get to define between police or nursing home employee.
Right.
Brower, you're able to
I
hear
just
us
want to
okay?
see the.
And sorry, what I was trying to say earlier, Lockhart, was the reason I say that him beating the individual with a collapsible baton being worse would be because the optics of it looks a lot worse than taking someone's life. Look back at the Rodney King situation that happened in the early 90s. I mean, several officers beat the tar out of Rodney King for no damn reason. And now if you have another officer who is a white man beating the tar out of a black man, everyone's immediately going to jump to the Rodney King, and it's going to make the things worse.
Yep.
Him killing the individual is really, really bad. No doubt about that. It is absolutely terrible. But optics-wise, it's better to take the life than it is to beat the tar out of the guy and cause permanent injury and or permanent pain for that individual.
That's fine, and I get the cop had to do what he had to do. I don't know if I agree with you though, but I respect your opinion. But again, I want to see that. I'm not saying either or. I want to see that video. Like I want to see the video that was actually caught
That's always what
on
I mentioned
camera.
it as well.
Yeah, that video that I posted, Donut Operator, he puts all the
he
videos
gives a
that they
breakdown,
have
but does he
together.
link them as well? Does I if he doesn't link them, I wish he would. But the issue is sometimes you link them outside of outside not Facebook, outside of YouTube, and sometimes they don't like that because I mean it's shit that YouTube won't show. I mean,
Yeah, no, he
Right.
doesn't have a
we
link
had-
for the outside one
yeah.
because it
We
is
had
age
Live
gated
Leak.
already.
I gotcha. We've got Live Leak, or we had Live Leak. Now we've got Item Fix, which is, the same thing, just fucking rebuilt.
Old Star.
No, I didn't know they made that. I didn't know that was a thing. What's it called?
Which one? Live Leak?
Did you say Live Link or what
Live Leak, LIVELEAK,
Live Leak
was it was a website that had a lot. Sometimes they were just there for gore. Sometimes they were there for humor. No censorship. Didn't matter what it was. Within
I was gonna say
within legal reason.
I saw on Live Leak. I saw a couple of the beheadings that happened during the war.
That's there. So they don't, they're going to tell you, hey, this is gory as shit. Click to make sure you understand that. They're going to put that there, but it's there. So they had that, but they actually shut down not long ago, unexpectedly, overnight. I just, one day I went to the website just because I'd be checking up on things. And suddenly it's not there. Well, here's our new project. It's Item Fix. Item Fix. Like, okay, this makes no sense.
More than likely, they got shut down by the FBI for whatever reason.
I don't know if that was it, because it was a new website, a new design, new everything overnight. So it appears they just rebuilt their setup. And the thing is, I had an account for Live Leak. I don't have an account for Item Fix. I'm not attaching it into my normal shit to that. So, I'll just have to wait until I feel like firing up Tor and logging onto a black email and attaching it to that. But
there goes again with that black word.
The same thing.
You know what? It's a black hat website.
It is. But let's back up that. No, I had my life in the RP world. You have on these roleplay servers, you have what they call whitelisted groups. Just whitelisted. That means you're allowed. And all of a sudden, with Grand Theft Auto, 5M. You take 5M, and 5M is upset with the word blacklisted. Or not blacklisted, sorry, whitelisted. They don't want that word used anymore, so now it's allow listed. Because whitelisted sounds bad. And whitelisted is a group of people who have been given access. Because blacklisted is the name of it.
It's so funny. Because here's the thing, right? This is so relatable to what I was just talking about the non-binary shit.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's the same fucking concept all over again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Somebody try to control language and be on the opposite side of fucking nature. Like, what the fuck? Like,
you can't use that word anymore, sir. It's not blacklisted anymore. It's not whitelisted anymore. It's allow listed or disallow listed. Get it right.
I'm sorry. It's always going to be black hat, gray hat, or white hat in my book.
They use it in security.
It's not relative.
It's blacklisted is.
It's not relative to skin color. Honestly, my classic idea of it was always relative to light. Bright, dark.
Brings me to my next subject I want to bring up.
I always equated it to old westerns. The bad guy always had the black hat. The good guy always had the white hat.
Brings me to my next subject, which is kind of messed up because it's a segue and it's kind of a racist segue, but whatever.
Subway.
I'm gonna power through it. Ready?
Firehouse.
All right, here we go. What do you guys think of the Will Smith slapping Chris Rock thing? Spur, go.
Honestly, I saw it in the news and I'm like, who gives a fuck? Click. That was it. Literally, that was it. So, but now let's say, okay, the memes were funny. Everything was funny that was put on Facebook and Discord and all the other shit that I really don't really pay attention to because, So here's my thought. If you're gonna make a joke and you're gonna overstep your bounds, you might expect to get smacked or punched or whatever. It happens. if I are you really gonna be that much of a bitch that you got to go up and slap a dude?
He went up and slapped him because his wife gave him a look.
Yeah. I mean,
The pants wearer in his relationship
did or
said,
didn't.
go deal with this honey.
did or didn't, you know? I mean, yeah, it happened. It's like one of those things like, okay, you know, if you're going to make a joke, you may as well expect it. And I think that's the way Chris Rock took it. I mean, he made a joke that went too far to somebody, and he faced a consequence. But this is things that comedians do all the time.
Yeah, but if you've been to a comedy club, I've been at one where someone's made a comment, a joke, a comedian's made a joke that's gone too far, and no one's gotten up and slapped them. And in reality, this should have been handled completely different. Chris Rock should be suing the shit out of Will Smith for the assault.
At the same time, like if that were me, I'd be like, fuck it, whatever. Dude was a bitch. I mean, look what he did to himself.
He was.
He's a fucking bitch.
He really was.
So let me give you my commentary on it,
Yeah,
and
go
I'm
ahead.
going to leave it. You know, so mine's going to be a little bit long. Okay, so just bear with me. I'll try to shorten it down. So one from the just out of, first off, you laughed at the joke, and then you looked at your wife and realized she was unhappy. Now, if she's upset, I get being upset and just being angry about it, but not to the point where you want to escalate to put hands on someone that you don't need to be putting hands on. That's one. Two, when it comes to Chris Rock, he's a comedian. He's a clown in a suit. Okay? That's his job. So for you to come up and slap someone over a over a joke that you found offensive and
The
he
mental
obviously
image clown
did
in
not
the suit
know.
just gave me a Chris Rock was hilarious. Go on.
He that's what it is. It's a clown in a suit.
Yeah, I got you.
That's what a comedian
Interesting
is, or a
image.
comedian is. So for you to come up and slap someone in the face while they're on their job, it's a double whammy. And on top of that too, Will Smith kind of forgot where the hell he came from because he started off in comedy. So that's what most of his shows were, especially when he was being the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So you kind of messed that whole thing up, and then not only that, you messed up your whole image because his whole image was to be the stand-up guy and sell records because he didn't have to cuss in order to do that. Now he ruined that over a woman who wanted to make that whole night about her because she knew that he was going to get an Oscar for it. So
Well, you also got to think about it like this: like his wife has flat out said that they are in an open relationship because she wants to be,
And
he already looks like a bitch, and then she just gives him that look of, "Hey, he made fun of me. Go take care of this." And it's like now you would look even more like a bitch.
Right. And the issue is you can't expect people to not make fun of you or make jokes or add commentary to your life if you're going to keep your shit out in public. You made Red Table Talk over a podcast about what goes on in your household. What do you expect? So, you know, there's different things around it, but at the end of the day, I don't think Chris Rock is at fault for any of it. I think he will get a popularity a boost from it. I think he's going to get a bunch of royalty checks from it. I think Will Smith was really ignorant when he did his speech after the fact because he came up to his speech, or he came up to accept the award, and then he tried to justify what he did by being extra beta versus alpha. He was being extra beta, and you know, to the whole community of comedy, I just feel like you disrespected comedy overall. Now you just got copycats that want to come up and want to. They can't take a joke. Now we're at the point of life now that we all can't take a joke. You went to go see a comedian do his job. You went to go laugh, but now when he starts picking on you, you're the one that's gonna be butthurt to go hurt the comedian over a show. I don't understand that.
In a sense, and let me. This was my whole thought when I heard about it. I think my wife mentioned it to me, and I'm like,
sure,
okay. And then I read more about it. I'm like, okay. And this is how I honestly looking at it. All right, so a celebrity I don't care much about, at a show I don't care much about, did something dumb that I don't care much about. That's how I looked at it. I don't care much about the private lives of celebrities. I don't care much about award shows for the good jobs. Here's the deal. They're actors, they're celebrities. They go out and do things and make a shit ton of money. They make a movie that a lot of people see. If they saw it and they liked it, they liked it. I don't get an award for doing a good job at work. People don't die. Things work. That's just what happens when I go doing my job. I don't need all that. So I don't really care much about, celebrities getting awards. I really don't care about how butthurt somebody is over something somebody says. You go ahead and you look outside celebrities and you got domestic assault all over the place. You've got assault all over the place. That's more of a concern to me than that is. So that was honestly my take on it. I didn't care. And, I did the only thing I got from it was about 5 days of funny memes, which was 2 days too many. That was it.
Fair.
Yeah. So that's my whole take on it.
What did I think of the whole situation with Chris Rock and Will Smith? Chris Rock is a little bitch. He slapped the shit out of Chris Rock because he couldn't slap the shit out of the rapper that was sleeping with his wife. I think it was A$AP Rocky or somebody.
No. It was August.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a rapper that I don't listen to, so I'm not sure what kind of music. Like, they make rap, they could be good, they could be bad. I don't know. All I know is he was banging Jada Pinkett Smith, which is, she's hot and was really, really attractive before. Now she's kind of not been so good looking in my book, but that's just my opinion. He just made himself look like a big ass bitch, and only did it because his wife gave him a look of saying, "Go handle this, or you're more of a bitch," and he went and handled it and became more of a bitch.
Mm-hmm. Well, my last thing I'm gonna say to this is, I get not caring, and it makes sense, especially if it doesn't really bother you. But to the black community, which I'm a part of, obviously, we looked at him as a stand-up guy. So the guy being like the person who made it without having to be a thug or a some sort of drug use person, some sort of illegal shit. He was a legit person that made his way to where he's at now, selling all sorts of tickets just because of his acting ability and selling music also, but more so his acting ability, which that's what we were all proud of. And for you to go on to what's known as the biggest stage for actors, which is called the Oscars, and knowing also that a black director was running the Oscars at the time, to go slap a comedian that didn't even write the joke, but someone wrote the joke for Chris Rock for him to say, because it had to be approved, to slap over a misunderstanding because of Jada having some sort of hair problem and Chris Rock really not making fun of the hair, but everybody who's not smart enough to get the joke thought it was about her hair. It was just ridiculous. It was just another mark that people felt like we didn't need in the ongoing battle of fixing our image to everybody else. That's all. And I get why you all don't care, but that's a little bit why it blew up a little bit more on my side. It was like, damn, like, really? Do we really need that?
Yeah,
do we really need that?
I can understand that, but no, honestly, like, on my end, didn't even look at it as honestly when it comes to Will Smith, I'm like, okay, the dude just had a great image his whole career, and he does something stupid. Honestly, he didn't fucking kill anybody. He fucking slapped a dude. don't give a fuck. You know, that doesn't change my image of him much. I'd say like a sliver, a fucking sliver. But the dude's had a phenomenal career. And it's been good. Honestly, I probably just needs to find himself a new wife. He'll probably be better off.
Yeah, no shit.
One bad.
I don't feel
agree.
any more differently towards him. I think he's a good actor. He's you know, that.
Yeah.
One thing that came out that's bad is Netflix canceled the sequel movie that he was going to be in, Bright 2.
That's dumb. That's premature. That's premature. Netflix has been doing a lot of things that I just don't think are the smartest. I know they're going after
their stock is plummeted.
It's
falling. Fucked up.
And here's the deal. Here's the deal. They did just recently make a big deal out of people allowing other family members to stream their services and shit like that. And listen, you get two streams that are available. I mean, if people want more than that, they're going to pay more. You can pay up to 4. You can pay for more, but they're starting to make a big deal out of people sharing services. Well, I've got my daughter going to different places, and that's her entertainment. The different MAC address, and they're all of a sudden they're going to start blocking shit. I don't know what their plan is. Try to start finding their way. I don't know if it's MAC address or IP address or what. But guess it's. I'm not going to be too happy.
It's
IP.
It's IP.
If you start blocking shit, I'm just going to end the service. I don't care. There's nothing that great on YouTube.
No.
Well, the funny part about this whole situation when it comes to them
I meant
and
Netflix.
their whole Netflix. So yeah, I know what you meant. is the simple fact that they're thinking that by canceling all these other streamers that are not paying for it, that all of a sudden these people who aren't paying for it are going to turn around and go and start buying subscriptions to Netflix. No, guess what, motherfucker? That's not what's going to happen. They're just going to move on to Hulu, Peacock, Paramount.
I don't even agree with that.
Guys, it already.
Well, they only lost 200,000. They only lost 200,000, which is quite a bit for them, but it's nowhere near what they've lost.
People said, "Fuck it, I'm not gonna use your service." Period. And that's why the stock dropped in the first place.
And
because
that's exactly if they start wanting to, if I get something that says, hey, we're going to start blocking this, you know what? You're $15 a month that I don't need to pay. I don't care that much. There's nothing that good on Netflix that I need to watch. Guess what? I can find it elsewhere. Go ahead and end that, and I'll start ending everything. And in fact, Sling TV loses quality quite often. In that, and everything I have, I'll give everything a try. I haven't tried YouTube, but guess what? Doesn't buffer every 5 minutes. YouTube doesn't buffer.
Don't use YouTube TV. It is terrible.
I've heard opposite actually. And the other thing about Netflix though is that
even Bally fucking Sports.
The other thing about Netflix though I want to say is, I get why you don't want to use it or you don't really care, but there are actual Netflix specials that are for comedy that I definitely watch. So like the Dave Chappelle comedy specials that come through, that takes a hit from them to some degree, Yeah. So it does look pretty bad from that perspective. But Netflix needs to get a grip on it. I mean, you guys used to sell DVDs and mail that shit to people and then expect people to give it back. Now it's past the price point of even that, and it's like, what do you want from me?
Yeah, guess what happens when people stop using a service? When people stop using a service, the people who provide their material to their service aren't interested in using them anymore. That's commerce. So when companies,
that's why Netflix has been making their own stuff more recently.
And you know what? I've been pretty impressed with a lot of Netflix stuff. The shows they've picked up that other networks have dropped, and the things that they do are actually pretty good. And I'm like, hey, this is good. I'll watch it. But I don't need it. So if you want to keep jacking shit up, and if you really want to start fucking with the service whenever I'm just trying to let my daughter watch shit other places, I'm not going to bother with it. I'll end the service now and stop watching this shit. I don't care.
So
just out of aggravation.
Does Netflix have a future? Yes or no?
They've said
more
multiple
than likely,
times.
yes.
Yes, they do. They've said multiple times that they want to mess with us. Are they? How far are they willing to go? If
I don't know if what you saw the most recent news when it came to Netflix after their whole stock fell. They are going to add a new tier, a much lower tier that will have ads like Hulu's lowest tier has.
I did hear that. Guess what? You know what? If I continue watching ads for Netflix, I already pay for the shit. Not that interested. Hulu already irritated enough with theirs. I'm at the point where like I'm gonna catch up on the shows I can and just end the shit. Even with Hulu,
only reason I have Hulu now is because I have the Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, Hulu ad-free program combo thing where I'm paying, I think it's like $20, and I get all of those in one. So now I can stream. You guys know that I'm a big hockey fan, I can stream on Hulu or ESPN Plus out-of-market hockey games that I want to watch, and then I've got Disney for all of the classic movies that I love and all of their TV shows that have been coming out. I mean, you got Mandalorian, which is awesome. You got the Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ben Kenobi show, I think is what they're calling it, or Obi-Wan Kenobi show that's coming out that I'm excited for.
Well, the biggest thing for me is they have a bunch of Fox shows that I like to watch. As animated adult cartoons that I like to watch. So that means Archer, American Dad, Family Guy. I still watch those reruns a lot. So for Hulu, I'm okay with that. Netflix, on the other hand, it's starting to, unless the specials are coming out, I'm not really caring for it. But again, Netflix doesn't like the sharing the passwords. But if you didn't like it in the first place, you should have did something about it a long time ago when you had, you know what I mean?
Honestly, I don't know why, but I'm a little more apt. I'm a little more apt to keep Hulu over Netflix, even with the commercials.
Well, right. Well, I don't pay. Well, for Hulu, I don't pay for the option with the commercials. I actually pay without commercials. So gotcha. I don't do without. Yeah. I do it without commercials. Yeah.
No, I do the cheapest on everything. Just the way I go.
You want to talk about really bad though? So I got Paramount Plus, and I paid for the ad-free version of Paramount Plus. They're lying to you when you get the ad-free Paramount Plus. You are getting no outside ads for Paramount Plus. They will still do ads for their own shows before and after the episodes you watch.
Yeah, because I was watching Big Brother and that kept happening. I was like, wow, we're going to keep switching off to a damn episode or a damn ad about soap and dishes and all this other shit that I don't care about. Nah.
Yeah. If you already got Paramount Plus and you're paying for the one that has ads, just stay with it because all you're doing now, if you bump up to the one without ads, is you're paying more money just so you can avoid those soap commercials and get Paramount Plus show commercials, and it's the same commercials over and over and over again. It is ridiculous. Right. The only reason I haven't canceled Paramount Plus yet is because I have friends that are watching shows on there and they're kicking me a little bit here and there to pay for it, so I'm not the only one paying for it, so I really don't care.
Actually, that kind of reminds me of like watching Hulu. The latest show my wife and I have been watching is what's the Seth MacFarlane show? It's
Orville.
Orville. Yeah, we've been watching Orville. Yeah, we've been watching Orville.
The Star Trek like one.
Yeah. It's I'm a Trekkie, so yeah, I definitely.
That's a good show.
You like Star Wars? Or I'm sorry,
no, Star Trek. I watched like
Star Trek,
like all of some, like a lot of the earlier I
can not stand Space Nine.
Deep Space Nine was not good.
Like Deep Space Nine, that was one of the best ones.
I wasn't a big fan of Deep Space Nine. Or wait,
I fucking hate
Deep Space Nine is so good because it's so good with showing the political issues that were happening in the backgrounds, where you got the next generation going to different planets, and Voyager, which I thought was I liked, but I also thought it was really dumb.
Voyager is okay. I'm talking about the headache I got from Deep Space Nine. I would develop a headache trying to just keep up with what was being said, and I was just like, this is so stupid. I would change it to Mighty Python after that because I'll be done. I'm done. I would just go, okay, I'm done. Channel 9, boop,
Yeah,
that's
no.
it. But my Python, it's on. I'm good. I'm
No,
done. can't do it.
I was a fan of all the Star Trek. Actually, it's Star Wars. I was never a big fan of, which I got.
Which I don't understand. Why you don't like Star Wars? Just curious.
I don't know. I mean, I can't answer that. It's just a lot of it didn't interest me. Then again, it was movies versus a TV series.
You didn't like you didn't like the whole Jedis. I get it. It's okay.
I don't
know
know.
Their
another
philosophy
show-
doesn't make sense.
You know another show I didn't really like that people really liked was MASH. I didn't like MASH that much.
I never liked
The
MASH that much.
the first few seasons are not great. The later seasons of MASH are really good. The final episode is absolutely heartbreaking.
Wait, didn't that come on after Matlock?
Yes.
Yeah, we turned that
Matlock
shit off
was
and went to the
good.
pool.
I love Matlock.
Yeah,
I watched
we watched
like a heartbeat.
Matlock, and then it was time to go to the pool. Every summer.
I would love Matlock. Okay, Matlock was great.
I was like 13.
You have
My
to-
sister
you
was
have to go back and
16.
watch-
We went to the pool. We went swimming. Hung out with my
And
sister's
everything
friends.
on Lifetime is all about we hate men. So don't no.
You
men are
do
trying
have
to
to go
kill
back
us.
and watch the final episode of MASH. Like I said, it is absolutely heart-wrenching.
Don't they all die?
I mean,
Or
now that
something
you
like
mention
No,
that.
so I'll give you a synopsis of it. The main actor, the main character, he's back in the States and he's in a mental institution because he's had a breakdown, and he's telling the story of him escaping from Viet Cong in a convoy of refugees, and they're surrounded, and it's at night, and he keeps mentioning this chicken that won't shut up, and he keeps mentioning it, and eventually he gets the owner of the chicken, which is a woman, to silence the chicken. And then at the very end of the episode, and I'm going to spoil this for you, and I don't care, but at the very end of the episode, you find out that it wasn't actually a chicken, it was a child. He got the mother to smother her own child, and he has a mental break from that.
Oh wow.
He goes through everything else in the war, seeing all these kids come over his operating table that he can or can't save, and doing all this, and it is him like trying to get a child to be quiet, and the mom eventually just smothering the child and killing it. That breaks him.
Wow.
It
And
is
other than,
so powerful, so heart-wrenching, and it is such an amazing episode.
Honestly, with that actually, I think I can. It reminds me, and I'm not going to go into specifics, but reminds me. All right, let's keep in mind my past job. I worked with a lot of war veterans and heard a lot of stories. I heard a lot about I heard a little bit about PTSD and what's caused PTSD. And one of those was Vietnam, a little bit older guy, definitely an alcoholic, trying to live his daily life. But one of the things was something that he had to do that haunted him. And I actually heard that from others. And things like that are just horrifying to think of. And those are things, even something very similar. I had a Afghanistan, a guy that was in Afghanistan. He explained to me what had happened, and I can understand that state of mind, that echo in the mind that would take. And this guy I would see him, and there were times I'd see him and he'd have red eyes, and you could see he's been crying or whatever. And you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. You sure? Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm gonna let you be. And then I go on with my day. I leave. That's the end of my day. But I think like just that description of that you gave of that really kind of encompasses, for instance, those two circumstances. I'm just not willing to get that depressing into this, that I want to explain that. But yes, that's two generations You could even in some cases you can even put that 3 generations apart. Vietnam and Afghanistan, you put that 3 generations apart in some cases. But something like that in a show, I think oftentimes can be important to include. Is rough or as shitty as it is, it's kind of an important thing to throw in there because there's so many things that people did that they had to or thought they had to. At the same time, there's many things that people didn't have to and did, and knew they didn't have to, and did.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
there's a lot of sides to that. You can swing both ways, but I mean, I have to feel for the people who did what they had to do, just to save their life, to save the lives of their, of everybody, everybody with them. It kind of takes into account the, I don't want to say butterfly effect. That's too scientific. It
takes into account of the needs of the many over the needs of the few.
Yes, that's exactly it. And lose one to save your whole side, even though that one seemingly may be somebody who's disconnected, but guess what? What that person's been doing has been fucking you over and has been killing people.
I actually had played some game about that where you had to make a choice between saving 5 people or saving your wife or your love interest, and whatever you pick.
What was that game, bro? What was it?
That was Lockhart that had that game, not me.
Was it Home? Was it something? Yeah, no. What was it? I can't remember the name of it.
I don't.
Was this the game where you're trying to get laid?
You just pick. No. What?
Okay.
No. Really? Anyway, let's talk about those gas prices.
Your love
right?
interests.
You're so funny, Spur. But let's talk about those gas prices. What the is going on with that?
Greedy motherfuckers want to be greedy.
Greedy. It's greed. It's greed. There you can point your finger everywhere. So with gas prices are actually so. You've got I don't think I can dig it up. Somebody really nailed it down real well. And they basically explained it.
Let me guess, the whole supply and demand shit?
No. They explained it. They explained it in terms of Fieros. Of Pontiac Fieros. So, and I'm a car guy. That makes sense to me.
That doesn't make sense to me at all. Go ahead.
Right. Basically, what's happening is you have these oil companies and gas companies that are saying, oh, we need to raise the price to X amount of money because that's how much it's costing for us to buy a barrel of oil before we refine it into gas or fuel of any kind. But then you go and look at their profits. And this is what they've made after paying everybody, after paying their taxes, everything like that.
That's right, that's it.
And they're having record profits over and over and over again. But gas prices seem to keep going up and up and up and up.
So,
and up. And it's just greed.
Let's just put it this way, Tim. Let's say you're an Apple guy. You're an iPhone guy.
Apple.
Let's say you own 95% of the Apple products out there. Like, all right.
I own actually 1% because I have a stock, but that's fine.
You don't own 1%. I know that.
I know. Go ahead. Moving on.
All right. Let's say
less than 1%.
Let's say you own 95% of the products out there, and 49% of the people who own your stock rely on you for making decisions to increase the income. All right.
The income for the business?
For the person.
Yeah, because they're going to make money. If the company's value increases, they make money. So you've got your you've got all these iPhones, and not a lot of people. Let's imagine there's less iPhones. Let's imagine the more people use their iPhones daily, the more they just like snap in half. Not that iPhones would break or anything.
You're such an iPhone hater. Okay.
So, let's say you own all these iPhones, and people want iPhones. It's true. I know it's crazy, but it's true.
Yes, I own one. I am a proud owner of an iPhone.
All right, but you own a ton of them. People want them, and they're running out. They're like, hey, Lockhart, we need more iPhones. And you're like, okay, but a war just started, and prices on things have gone up a little bit. And they're a little harder to get, but I can get them. But let me meet with these other guys that own a bunch of other iPhones. So you meet with the other guys that own the other iPhones. Like, yeah, we can probably charge more for them. They don't have them. They want them more. They need them more because they can't call people and be like, hey, boo, what's up? So you want to charge a little more for them. All right, well, people are going to have to pay for it because pretty much everybody has iPhones. So you do, and you just kind of jack that price up. What are you pointing for?
I'm saying you said everybody has them. Everybody but me, because I have the superior phone. Sorry.
That's not an iPhone. Yeah, but the main thing is, okay, let's dumb it down a little bit. Basically, OPEC can increase. They can all agree. You get together with a group of other companies, and you say, we're all going to say, because of whatever, we're going to raise the price a little bit more, and they raise the price more. The U.S. oil. A lot of people are trying to say Russia or whatever. It really comes down to most of the U.S. oil does not come out of Russia. It comes out of many other places. So you can't blame it on that. You can't blame it on that war because it's coming out of so many other places. So you really, there's no, maybe a sliver of the amount fuel increases increased can be explained by things like war and things like that. Now let's also keep in mind that other countries cannot get gas from Russia, which they were getting it from. They're having trouble getting it from Russia. But once again, that shouldn't impact the U.S. or other countries that have not been getting it out of Russia. So really, it comes down to greed. I mean, really, that is it. You've just got a group of individuals that say, okay, well, let's make more money. Now, a little tiny bit of that can be, let's try to recoup our losses because we're not going to be able to get it from Russia. It doesn't explain the extreme crunch we've been under. Now
you know what? At the end of the day, though, if we're able to put a hold on government money, and I get that there's a government involved in this and all that, but like student loans, put a forbearance on that because of COVID-19. I would think though. I know just what you're going to say, but I would think that in some way they would at least put some sort of cap on how high gas prices can be or can go before it's too much.
They pay enough politicians to prevent that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they do, but at the same time, it's not really the government's job to control gas prices. The government really shouldn't have a hand in controlling gas prices. If gas prices are too high,
they got a hand in everything else.
Too much.
But gas prices fall under capitalism.
Long as there's taxes, they got a hand in something.
Loans fall
under tax on everything.
You're right. That's too much. But yeah, okay. So gas prices fall under capitalism. Loans should fall under capitalism as well, unless they're government loans, in which that is a separate case. But there's the fact that there's predatory loans that are a lot like housing back in, what was it, 2008, where it is variable. I'm forgetting words right now. Variable interest. So the interest could rise or lower depending on whatever the fuck it relies on. Now, whenever you vary your rates like whenever you vary your rates like that cause
okay.
I can't think of the word.
It's fine. It's all right.
Whenever the interest rates got too high and people's interest rates varied too high, people lost homes. They couldn't afford to keep living in their homes. Therefore, the bubble burst, in a sense, and banks went under.
But they're too big to fail.
Right, but they're too big to fail because the government bought them out because there was no reason. Just like the government bought out GM, there is no reason the government. They are. Guess what? Was it GM or was it Chrysler? I can't fucking remember. I think they bought both of them.
It was
GM
Chrysler.
ended up better, but Chrysler is Chrysler's a fucking French company now.
Chrysler got bought off by another company across seas. It was
Chrysler.
GM.
Chrysler bought out. No, Chrysler took government money. And after taking that government and re-outfitting factories, they closed their factories and took a buyout by
Fiat.
Daimler. There was Daimler, and then there was Fiat, and there was Peugeot, and then there's Stellantis. How many times have they been bought out? And that's after.
Okay, so what? So who owns Chrysler right now?
This Stellantis.
Oh wow. All right,
Stellantis, who also owes Peugeot, I believe, or at least a percentage of
You want to talk about worse, though? Look at what Bank of America did. They took a payout from the government, and then they gave out bonuses to their executive branch.
It's just like healthcare. The same thing as healthcare. And, and that, honestly, here's the deal. In a lot of cases, that is just simply capitalism and greed. Something the government has absolutely no right to handle. Now, if they're giving tax breaks and things like that, all these, if they are giving them something, it needs to stop. In fact, they shouldn't be giving them that shit at all, because guess what? That costs us. And we can go back to Disney and that fucking discussion we were having about all the other shit. The fact where Disney makes a statement and stops donating money to government officials, and suddenly Disney no longer has all the government perks it had before. They ran their own fucking government. And
no, they still do. They still do. Florida is attempting to stop that, and they can't right now.
And here's why. They so Lockhart, to get you in the know with this, Disney basically owned a city or
the land
a county
that Disney
or
World
something.
sits on is governed by Disney because they are technically the only residents of that area.
They were the police.
Orlando?
They were no, not Orlando, just their specific area. But they were the police. They were the fire. They were the medic. They were everything. And guess what? We didn't hear shit about it. We didn't hear about police brutality. We didn't hear about any issues with medic or fire or anything like that. But they were able to control that. They were able to deal with their own taxes. And they paid a lot of money for this. And in turn, the communities that were around them actually saw less tax increases. So now, because they sided with some of the
with the anti "Don't Say Gay" bill.
Yes, those that are against the "Don't Say Gay" bill. Since Florida's like, fuck you guys, you're done, because we're all extremely Republican, and we're just gonna cut that off now.
So I read into that
what's
bill
gonna
a little more.
happen?
I'm sorry to cut you
No,
off. I read that bill. It's 7 pages.
Before you cut me off, let me get to this real quick.
Okay.
Go
ahead.
The end result of them removing all that is going to increase a lot, or they're going to increase that county in the surrounding areas. Their taxes are going to skyrocket because now they are going to have to provide all those public services to the area that Disney covers. And there's possibly more that I'm missing, and there's possibly some things that are positive that I'm missing as well. But the fact is, there are a lot of people that are going to be paying a shit ton more because of a private corporation putting money and doing a fantastic job while doing it. I mean, yeah, you can look at the negatives too, but
I mean, you're looking at a small ass area too. I mean, geographically compared to everything else,
it's small.
But I mean, you can maintain that much easier than something bigger.
This goes along with the argument for less taxes, though. Private corporations, private individuals, people and corporations are going to be more willing to give money rather when taxes are lower to improve the areas. That's kind of one of my beliefs. But let's get back to what Brow was mentioning before.
So that Don't Say Gay bill, I actually read the full thing, and I read the synopsis that the House came up with, which is what they describe what the bill is actually going to be doing. Basically, it prevents any discussion of sexuality from kindergarten to third grade. So you can't talk about sexuality in any sort of fashion. And if they do, a parent can sue the school and or teacher. Another thing, and this is for higher up, for beyond third grade. If a child comes out to a teacher, so let's say your child comes out to a
what
teacher
grade was that?
They're gay, third grade and fourth grade and up. If a child comes out to the teacher by this law is obligated to tell the parents that their child is gay, lesbian, bisexual, transsexual, or anything in between, any part of the spectrum. If they do not, the parents have a right to sue that teacher for $10,000 minimum.
That's messed up. But you know what? Why can't we use that? That was my whole idea against the whole racism thing. That was the whole idea with the whole racism thing, not the gay thing. Like, if you say a racial slur here in America, you should get fined for that.
I agree.
Remember that? That was my whole idea. If you say we're here in America, everybody is mixed with something. You're not full, whatever the hell you are. Just take it or leave it. I don't care whatever end of the spectrum you are. But here in America, if you say something racist behind closed doors or out in the open, you should get fined for that. And I feel like if we're going to start doing things like "don't say gay," then we should really just tackle the racism that way and move on. That's where I'm at.
But anti-racism isn't in the Bible.
No, so there's things that make
that's the argument basically.
No, there is. I mean that really, in a sense, is
it's still hate. But hate is in the Bible because racism is based on hate.
It is, but it doesn't say specifically, right?
No, it doesn't say specifically. Okay,
just take a break. Go ask White Jesus and.
Yeah, let me stop real quick and go ask Jesus. He's just down the street. Let me go talk to him.
Go ask White Jesus, the one you see so many pictures of.
Wow. Yeah, the non-accurate Jesus that we see everywhere. He grew up in the Middle East, had curly hair, but damn it, he was white.
What's funny about that is we just had Easter too, and all the bunnies and shit was popping up everywhere. Oh, happy Easter! You don't even know what it's for. Like, some of these people don't even know what
the eggs. You know what? What happened was this. What happened was this. Jesus says, they're going to hang me on this cross, and I'm going to rise in 3 days. But you know what? I don't want to see any fucking eggs. I don't care if you have to paint them. I don't care if you have to fucking hide them. I don't want to see a goddamn egg.
You want to know why they hide eggs and not let's find Jesus? Because how fucked up would it be to have somebody walk around your house putting raspberry jelly all over the place? Come on, guys, we're finding Jesus, and let's follow his blood.
People don't understand that. Listen, people don't. First off, in my opinion, he did rise. He did rise from it. But the other part of it is that people don't understand that Jesus he got beaten to the point that he was unrecognizable as a man. Like, they don't even realize how bad that sacrifice really was. Like, he was beaten to the point where he was not recognized as a human being. Period.
Actually, the reason we hunt Easter eggs is because it's another version of Christianity and Catholicism stealing from pagan holidays.
Yeah, I would say it's a pagan thing. Just Yeah.
Easter is supposed to be about fertility. Originally, from the pagan side, it's about fertility and sex and stuff like that. But then
every time somebody brings up Peggy, someone brings up the
pagan. We said paganism, not pagan. No. There's actually something
that's what it sounds like.
I want to.
But that's what it sounds like.
I know. I want to jump back.
Just because I enjoy. I mean, what?
Doc here. The gender movement supercharged racial injustice. The gender movement superseded the racial injustice. I'm sorry, that was actually my dyslexia. I thought it was
what?
Supercharged. I think cars instead.
Okay, right.
Okay.
That's
gender
right.
movement
Go ahead.
superseded the racial injustice. Did it? What's your guys' thought? The gender movement superseded the racial injustice.
Yes.
Did it?
Yes.
I will agree.
Really?
I agree with that.
He's right.
And I'm not.
I think of it. I think of it in opposite terms. Tell me why. Yeah, I think of it. I like honestly. I like when I think of racial injustice. I think of the early '90s. Sorry, I think of. I think of Martin Luther King. I think of Rodney King. All the way up and through. Why do I not see the gender movement superseding that?
Because you don't see the. So this goes back again to the Bible. Before racial injustice, like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and all those movements, Rosa Parks, you had the actual change in the Bible. The original translation in the Bible for one of the commandments everyone knows it as "Thou shalt not lay with man as he lays with woman." The original translation from Latin to like older English, like what we speak, was "Man shall not lay with child as he does with woman." It was anti-pedophilia. But then in the 1950s, because homosexuality was becoming more pronounced and they wanted a way to tell people that they were wrong, that Jesus and God didn't love them because they were homosexuals and they liked the same sex, they came out and they changed the translation to "Man shall not lay with man as he lays with woman."
Well, my opinion here is simple. You can't fight against nature. Okay, nature's always gonna win. I mean, look at the weather. Okay, the weather and us building buildings. Okay, you know how many buildings we build in this fucking country, and then the weather just said, or whoever in charge of the weather, which is Jesus, and God says, "Fuck that." This takes it away. I mean, you see the movie Twister. I mean, it's a movie, but you get my point.
Twister's like one of my two favorite movies. I mean, yeah.
Right. You see the movie Twister. Even though that's
once
unrealistic.
A year, at least.
And it's an unrealistic. But speaking of Twister, it's an unrealistic scene in that fucking movie.
No, there are a million bloopers in that fucking movie. The cell phones work in the middle of fucking nowhere in a goddamn tornado in 1993. I mean, come on.
I must have seen a different Twister because I thought it was all about twisting nipples and playing naked Twister.
See. What I tell you about bringing up the times when you played with your sister.
You think it up.
Don't bring up the times when you played with your sister, okay? We don't want to know about the Twister.
Wrong website. No, wrong website. No.
That was my sister's friend, Crystal.
All I have to say is I did not. I never thought of the gender movement superseding racial injustice.
No, she was a gorgeous, petite little Asian woman. Oh, God, the memories.
Oh, go ahead and break it down for us. Go ahead.
Hold on. We got
Sorry, I'm having a moment.
Adult material which may not be suitable for younger audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Let's dive back. Doc's piping in. So the BLM, which I don't agree with all of their views, with the exception of fighting for racial injustice, was making some ground until the alphabet community stepped up and cried, "We're minorities too." Very fair. I do agree with that.
I agree.
If we step back to BLM, one of the things being from all of us from, we'll just call it the Ferguson Florissant area, being all familiar with it. We're all locals. We know what happened during that. what came of it, and how it suddenly got supercharged, and suddenly there was definitely some latching. Let's see, completely blurred the lines of focusing on the fight against racial injustice. Yeah, I can believe that. And the fact is, not only that, but the lines of BLM are blurred by everybody who wants to cry because of, pay attention to me instead. Pay attention to me instead. Yeah, there's to pay attention to just all the of what'd you say? Pay attention to gender movement, pay attention to police, pay attention to whatever. Yeah, one of the things that bothers me the most is, fuck BLM, police lives matter. Do you think I don't care about police? I went to school for criminal justice. I went to school to be a cop, which I'm fucking not. But how does one replace the other?
It doesn't. It's people.
Right. No,
that's people.
That's been my biggest problem. Whenever BLM became noticed, whenever it became bigger, and whenever more people started paying attention, all these other things started grasping at it. Pay attention to me. And what it says is Black Lives Matter doesn't matter. Police lives matter. No, that's not true at all. I care about the police lives, but I also care about the fact that you have not only racial but social.
Because people don't understand plain English. That's what I try to explain.
No, it's not even plain English. When you say
Black Lives,
it's not even that, because Black Lives Matter isn't based. Black Lives Matter isn't based on skin color, really. BLM is social injustice. It's the injustice that anybody who was dumped into this area of being poor or being less important or less they have less, they don't have much to work with. I'm still running out of words. But I mean, that's what puts people into this pit that they can't get out of, and that is the idea of BLM. BLM is important because it's trying to pull their community out of poverty. And even though, obviously, not all of their members are in poverty, but they're looked at as if they are.
BLM is about putting focus on the fact that we have too many African American people who are dying at the hands of police for unjustified reasons and getting away with it due to the blue curtain that is on the police side. That means the blue curtain is the fact that if I rat another officer out, then that officer is not going to have my back when in the line of duty when I need him the most. When my life is being threatened. So people don't understand. People want to twist words so much that it's not even funny. But it's about Black Lives Matter, and this is just the missing word is too, right? But at the end of the day, the statement is a definition of focus. That's all it is.
Yeah, no,
nothing more than that.
The blue line.
It's not saying.
Did you call it the blue line?
It's not the blue line, the blue curtain. You know what I'm
blue curtain. Well, when I was actually in college for CJ, it was explained as the blue curtain, and it creates that line. It creates that wall which separates, and it has its extreme negative effects. But getting back to what Doc said, he kind of stated something similar to what I had said. Let's see. Completely blurred the line of focusing on the fight against racial injustice, which then turned the focus of BLM to focus heavily on gender rights, just to be heard. It became the social injustice because the problem is that blacks are seen as poor and impoverished. The bottom line of social injustice falls under one category: fear. I don't think any one of us will disagree with it, that even though Brow got up to, go pee or grab a drink. No, right. I heavily agree with that. That's basically what if I didn't explain it well enough, that's more or less what it was coming to. Yeah, and it's not that it's not a concern.
Right, but people want to put the narrative out there that it's reverse racism, and it's not that. It's really not that.
It's not. And I mean, we can get into another discussion if it comes to
sure.
Shit, what's the when it comes to something like fuck it, what's I can't think of the fucking word. Oh well, doesn't matter. Let me move on to the other one. When it comes to like businesses and hiring, this versus that, skin color,
hierarchy.
You're gonna think of the word. I'm brain farting right now. I know you will.
You're talking about what do you call it? When you're against someone because of their skin color, their age, and
yes, equal opportunity. Yeah. There's a lot of things there, and equal opportunity has its positives, it has its negatives. I definitely feel, and sometimes it's improved things. It's actually, and I feel that it's had its negative effects on things as well. But moving back to the facts between equal rights when it comes to skin color, and rights when it becomes equal rights when it comes to sexual orientations, things like that. They all have their drives. They all have their purposes.
I thought you were looking for the word discriminated, like discriminated against. That's what I thought you were looking for, brother.
It's in the same wheelhouse.
Well, right.
But I think, everything it has its place, but they're piggybacking off each other in that same time hurting each other. I mean, early in the show, we talked specifically of sexual orientation. Yeah, we talked specifically of sexual orientation and all that. Separate issue. If and the shitty part is they're minority groups. That's a big negative of minority groups piggybacking off of movements. The messages cannot, whenever they become mixed like that, it becomes confused. And then there's an enemy. There's an enemy with this. Equal opportunity is 100% bad because of this. It's got its positives and negatives there. What did we call it before? The Me Too.
Was it
whatever?
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to children, it's got we've got arguments here and there. It's got I'm a very middle person. Do I want you talking to my kid before third grade about sexual orientation? Not really. I mean, do I want you? But I'm a reasonable person. If my child asks questions, if they ask you questions, I want you to mention that to me, because if my child feels uncomfortable asking me a question, there's a problem. Then
here's what I don't
answer
understand.
That question for my child.
But what happens? What's happened to the old? You have to get your parents to sign a permission slip before you can even talk about that with my child.
What
happened is that?
I mean, like, there was a point. Like, think what happened to the old. I'm gonna give your kid some medicine, and you're not gonna fucking know about it. I mean, you talk about that. Then that comes to the vax issue. You talk about vaccines, and in the 70s, they're giving kids, here, drink this. It's a vaccine. Parents don't know. There's that same thing. So you've got multiple angles coming in at this. And you have to come to a point where, like, oh shit, we're at a point where we got to realize we got to draw a line. And you know what? These lines, we have to try to make them equate each other. Do we talk to the kids about sex at this point without parents' knowledge? Do we give our kids vaccines without their parents' knowledge at this time? Do we let the kids make the decision of the vaccines at this point? Or, do we let the kids decide they want to talk to us about sex without parents' acknowledgement?
Well, I think that it's
honestly,
to the adults to make that choice, not the kids.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm kind of backing off of the racial discussion at the same time. And I feel like that's my own thing, because to me, the whole racial issue, it in my mind, it's almost like it's gone because I think differently, and I think equally enough that it's not an issue in my mind. But that's my mind. Then I look at other people and see the children that they're raising, and I'm like, oh God.
So you're saying that this should be optional because people who are parents don't know how to be parents?
I'm saying I'm looking at all these issues and trying to compare them to themselves, and try to govern them by themselves, but they're not the same.
Well, no, they won't be because everybody's parenting style is different. So that's why I said, why not go back to the method where you have to have a permission slip in order to talk to my kid about, I don't know, the subject of the birds and the bees, right? Okay. Why not go back to that?
So your parents, the teacher's going to write you a note for your 7th grader. I'm like, hey, I want to teach your 7th grader that all people are equal. You're like, oh fuck, no.
Well, that's a little different.
That's what I'm saying. We're looking at things like, we're taking different things and putting them together, and it kind of creates this thing like, okay, this is the issue where you want to be able to teach your kids the right thing.
Right, but teaching people the right thing involves unity. Teaching my kid about sex before they're ready is about maturity. And see, what I'm trying to bring to you is not every kid's maturity is at the right stage. So therefore, if I want my child to, I want to be able to know what my child is hearing and be ready to digest that information and use that information to the best of their ability to go on life, not to be bombarded with shit and then misuse that information, and then I find out years later that my kid's having sex with no condom on and getting girls pregnant. That's a problem. So yes, I want a permission slip because I may or may not want that kid to be in that class. That's why there should be a range of, or different ages groups of, we're gonna have a sex talk this grade level. Oh, okay, we're gonna pass that up. We're gonna talk about the sex talk this grade level or the next grade level. That's what I'm getting at. Yeah, because but talking about unity and everybody should be equal, that I'm all for that. That's not harmful. Yeah. And any way you look at that's not harmful.
It comes down to kind of like setting that limit. It's like, does everything have the same limit and things like that, or what are we going to do with what? And Doc drives, I'm going to put it like this. Doc drives another point hard, and I think it's a solid point. Being in the current state of culture, we are completely bombarded with information at the click of the button that you cannot make everyone happy. But in school, the parent should have an option to, and I think that's solid. It's very solid.
But I hear what he's saying, but here's the issue. The issue is we're making things so complicated because we got too many fucking options. Mm-hmm. When you got too many options, you don't know what's the best option to go. You got way too many options. All that does is create more confusion and then less confidence on which path is the best way to go. So now we're here discussing that shit. You understand what I'm getting at?
Yeah. Now, and you know what? We're actually with that, with the identity and sexual identity and sex and all that, driving it back to this memory I have from grade school of, I don't know what it was. I don't know if my parents, in fact, I'm going to ask my mother if she signed a permission slip or something. I don't know what grade it was, but it was some sexual education course, private Catholic school, whatever.
And I was gonna say, if it was like me, it was 5th and 6th grade. 5th grade, I learned about the boys hitting puberty and getting hair on their balls, and the 6th grade, I learned about girls hitting puberty and getting boobs and hair on their vag.
That was not it. Sorry, we went to different schools. Were you in the same school as me in 5th and 6th grade? I don't believe you were you?
I went to Wedgiewood.
Yeah, you weren't. It wasn't the same. For us, we never learned about that. We didn't learn a thing about that. We learned that condoms were ineffective against AIDS.
Sorry.
I mean, that was seriously the lesson. And that, and I'm sorry for the use of the word, because a lot of people don't like it, but if your child was retarded, you should accept them. I mean, that was like the one day lesson that we got. It's like, okay.
So barely talk about the realistic ideas of sex and how
the fact that, you know,
how it is, it's
that,
everything's based on
the fact that condoms condoms prevent pregnancy. Masturbation is not evil. All these things that should be taught in sexual education.
Masturbation is not evil.
Yeah. You don't touch. You're not supposed to touch yourself. Sorry.
Hold on. Did you say masturbation is not evil or it is evil?
Well, it's not, but I don't want you to think it is. I mean, you're not a sinner. Just want to let you know.
Oh well, no. I'm not saying that. It's just it kills me because the school you went to was all Catholic, right?
Yes.
Okay. So it kills me because
I'll be honest.
I don't want to change the subject.
There wasn't a whole bunch of talk about that. I mean, it's just like,
that's
it's
fine.
a general
That's
consensus. Fine. But what I remember from the course,
sure.
And this was, you got a sheet of paper. Got my sheet of paper. All right. A big circle on the sheet of paper. All right. That hole represents the fault in a condom. There's a dot in that. That is the AIDS virus. That's all I remember. If you focus so much on that is all I remember, and this was some type of sexual education, that's terrible. That's atrocious. What happened to our generation? We're what? Gen Y. We're millennials. Then there's Gen X. What happened with Gen X and Gen Y? Yeah, we're millennials, and
we're millennials.
Okay, so same as Y, but Gen X and millennials. What happened with those generations was that things like that were taught, and we had to rely on TV and radio for sex education. We had to rely on Howard Stern and Dr. Drew. And Dr. Sue Johansson.
HBO Real Sex.
Or the Spice Channel when you were getting it illegally, okay? Or some sort of
dude, you were watching squiggly lines on the screen.
Right, you were watching the squiggly lines because of however it was.
Skinamax.
Well, I know how it was, but I'm not going to go there. But yeah.
Mine was Poison
Ivy.
Signal. It's a movie called Poison Ivy. And it starred Alyssa Milano.
Wow.
I mean,
that's how I got to see her tits.
No, wow. But I mean, I think, honestly, the, like, for a big gap, avoiding talking about what was important whenever it became increasingly more important to talk about it. There was those generations where it was increasingly more important to have that discussion with children, and it was avoided. I think that could have led to all these sexual injustice issues, because now these other issues are becoming more in the open.
I can agree with that.
So if you can tackle those ahead of time without being shy about it, I mean, let's be honest.
It takes maturity, though.
Right. Let's talk about maturity. I've never had a fucking birds and the bees talk.
Right, but it takes maturity from both parties. It takes maturity from the parent to understand that your kid is going to eventually going to have these urges, and you're going to have to be woman enough or man enough as a parent to talk to them about it. That's maturity 1, and then maturity 2 is little Jimmy or Sarah going to be able to handle that type of talk? Is she ready for that yet? Yes or no? Okay,
all children are different. If you take a look at
no
a child.
means, but understand that no means not yet.
Yeah. Yeah, you
That's
take a look at
maturity.
it. Yeah, I think we have a core, one of the core issues with these. And by mentioning what you just said, I think it, it kind of shows that going ahead and saying, making an age to discuss this might be an issue. You've got a child that starts talking at age 2. You've got a child that starts talking at age 1, or walking or crawling. You've got all these different landmarks or stages they hit, and they're all different. Well, if they're so different so early on, they're going to become more and more drastically different as they get older, especially when it comes to two different biological sexes. So
if we're using
that makes it
technology
even harder.
correctly, we would find out that these stages are happening a lot sooner or at different points of life instead of basing it on age. And they would adjust the curriculum in the school if they were smart enough to make it work to where they would understand that. And that's a problem. They don't want to adjust the curriculum. They want to use this old ass curriculum to teach what they always been teaching because they don't want change, and it's almost like they want you to think a certain way so you don't act so that way you come out believing certain beliefs that don't really challenge you. You're not really challenged. It's like you're being programmed.
Yeah,
Am I being right?
I understand what you're saying, but like my point of that was children all differ. It doesn't matter the generation. Children all differ. So you may have a 3-year gap, a 4-year gap between kids of different maturity. I think that's what the point you made with a parent signing something, that makes sense. But it also takes an educated parent. It takes an educated parent to do that. But then I started
it takes
laughing.
a mature parent.
Yeah, it does. But then I started laughing because of Doc's comment that he wouldn't agree with the methods, but appreciate it. The birds and the bees talk was my mom making me watch a 70s video of women giving birth that traumatized me not to indulge in teenage pregnancy.
Wow. Ain't that... Wow. Wow. Okay, Doc. Jeez. Okay. All right, Doc. We're gonna have to question that. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that when we do a.
I'll tune in for that.
When we do a. Yeah. We're gonna talk about that. That's really effed up. What the
100%.
fuck? What the fuck?
All right. Just to go ahead and beat the shit out of that topic. Oh,
we're gonna talk about that later on a different or something to change later.
No.
What the hell, Doc?
We're gonna talk about Uranus.
Wow.
Yeah, it worked all right. Jesus Christ.
No,
and like I said, okay, so I got that same talk I did, but I didn't have my first child till I was 34. I think. Does that make sense? Yeah, 34.
I never had to talk. My mother never came to me about talk.
I
you know what happened to me? We don't know what happened to me. I tried putting it on the condom because I didn't know how. So I tried putting it on, and then all of a sudden, I guess she found a couple rappers from me trying it, and then my mother came into the room and was like, "You better not be having sex, or I'm gonna kick your ass and I'm gonna kick you out of my house." And it was like, I was literally trying to make sure I knew how to put a condom on. Nobody.
Such a good sign.
I live with my mother. I have no father. I have to learn the hard way. The hard way. You get what I'm saying? Like, I have to learn the hard way. And what was I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? Skinner Max is not going to teach you everything.
You're sitting there trying to put it on all limp-dicked and shit.
Okay, first off, it wasn't. Anyway, let's move on. Let's just talk about something else.
No, I was trying to talk about Uranus.
Say what?
I was trying to talk about Uranus.
Oh no, we're not talking about the Uranus.
We are talking about Uranus. Okay,
yeah,
so here's the deal. Like discussing space missions and all that. All right, so honestly, NASA's got somewhat relatively limited cash to use. SpaceX has been doing so much, and I think SpaceX has been flying people up to the space station.
Yep,
Actually,
they're
I have a
flying people
lot.
to and from.
I've got a lot of positive to say about SpaceX. Honestly, all of his companies, I have a lot of positive to say about them. I'm a big fan of.
Does that include
of
Twitter?
Musk's. He's not running it, but I honestly I don't give a fuck what Twitter does.
You know, not to bring up Disney again, but Disney actually has a space station. It's a restaurant that you go in. You actually get a golden ticket or some sort of a specialized ticket. You get in there, and the elevator takes you all the way up to the restaurant that's in space. And there's like a TikTok floating around about it. I watched it. It was interesting.
Is it like go up into a tall building? I'm trying to figure out what the fuck this is.
It says this big ass
Is it like
elevator. It's an elevator. It takes you straight all the way up. I literally watched it on TikTok.
The fuck is going on?
If I can find it, I'll send it to you. But that was
I would love
wow,
to see
this
it,
is really
but,
a thing.
Elevator's probably
You're
taking
probably
3
thinking
feet underground.
of the new Star Wars resort that just opened up in Disney World. That
No.
you go on an elevator up to space to get onto the battle cruiser or the Star Cruiser that you will be staying on. That they have Star Wars themed. It is a brand new resort that opened up. You have to pay for the full weekend because they have events going on throughout the whole time.
Nope.
There is currently no elevator that goes from the Earth to space.
I'm telling you what I'm telling you. I saw.
Well, I mean, you do know everything on TikTok is real, so
yeah.
What? Okay.
TikTok's part of the internet.
That's fine. If I find a video, I'll send it to you.
Everything on the internet is real.
And they showed like the ticket, and it was like Mickey Mouse symbol, but it was gold, and like it was this big ass thick ticket, and like everything that their restaurant gets, as far as you order, there's like a lab up there that they grow their own
they give
shit.
you a little packet and they like squeeze it out. Like here's
No,
your
they
ice
grow
cream.
their own.
Here,
They grow
here's
their
your
own.
freeze dried ice cream.
They grow their own things, like their own vegetables and stuff up there. I saw it. I was like, wow, I was impressed with it, but I wouldn't get on that elevator. I'm not really a
It
fan
probably
of
sways a
elevators
lot.
anyway. No, it just shoots you straight up.
I think is it going through a tube or is it like a rocket ship?
Are you making fun of me right now? Are you mocking me? It sounds like you're mocking me, Spur.
I'm curious.
Are you doing that?
I'm curious. This is
It's like
this is a rocket elevator. Is it like going through a tube up to a space station?
It looks like it's a tube going up there. I don't know.
The space
I don't know
station.
what else to say. I have to actually send it to you. So
I would love to see it.
yeah, I bet you would. Yeah.
No, I just want to talk about Uranus. That's all.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So
I'm not down.
here's the
I'm not
deal.
down
Here's the
with
deal.
tossing salad. Okay.
No. It's not that. So NASA wants to probe Uranus. That's the story essentially. But let's see. So Uranus should be NASA's highest priority large planetary science mission for the next decade. Uranus is mostly on an unexplored world. Take that in for a second. Mission concept called Uranus Orbiter and Probe, UOP for short, for a multi-orbital tour during which it should jettison an atmospheric probe into Uranus.
Why does everything have to be about ass talk?
The reports have
All day
also
long.
stressed. The reports have also stressed the need for fully equipped Uranus orbiter, complete with an atmospheric probe to dive beneath Uranus's cloud.
They're just trying to probe Uranus.
Yeah. So it's perhaps no surprise that Uranus is now at the top of NASA's agenda. There's compelling broad planetary and even exoplanet science to be done at Uranus. And as one scientist quoted, to fully explore Uranus, we need to be in orbit, exploring the interior and magnetosphere.
What if it wasn't clean?
And touring the myriad of icy moons and rings. If it's worth doing, then it's probably worth doing properly.
I just posted in the in our little private chat a link to the Disney World Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel, in which you take a elevator to the Galactic Cruiser in space.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I posted a link in our PMS hashtag thing there.
I can't.
It is. You can't hear me?
Hello?
Spur, can you hear me?
I can hear
Hello?
you.
Okay, all right. All right. Okay, yeah.
So
Yeah, shut the fuck up, bro.
The
Shut up,
Galactic Cruiser.
Shut up, bro.
Elevator to
Shut up, bro.
space. It doesn't exist.
Whatever,
So,
bro.
anyways, they were trying to come up with names for the mission. I'm trying to pull them up, but they were.
Oh no, I don't want to know about the names of the mission. That's kind of suspect.
Hey,
was,
they could say they got a pro for fudge.
They calls the mission the budget for New Frontiers mission. Yeah, I'll bet. To fully explore Uranus, we need to be in orbit. Exploring the interior.
Here you go. Here's a good one. Checking out the back door of our galaxy.
A good possible for the name of the orbit is Callias, which is the Roman counterpart for the Greek god Uranus. Should be fitting because Uranus is the only planet in our solar system named after a character from Greek instead of Roman mythology. Let's see. Another option could be Shakespeare for the Uranus orbiter and Pope, quote unquote, for the atmospheric probe. After all, the moons of Uranus are named after characters from the works of William Shakespeare. Now, honestly, I was thinking of things more along the lines of, proctology or colonoscopy. I don't know
Pope
why I
is
thought
perfect.
of this.
Because think about all the time the priests in the Catholic Church diddled little children's buttholes.
Oh, come on, man. Really? Wow.
Pope is gonna diddle the Uranus.
Spur, press the button again. The content button.
This
again,
one?
please.
You see, we're on a mission from God.
Oh wow! Really? Really?
Perfect
button
press.
That's the wrong button. That's the wrong.
No, that was not the wrong button. That was the correct button.
No, for you maybe. That was the wrong button. Wrong button, Spur. Wrong button.
That's it.
Here's another unfortunate pack of mutants who ought to be penciled in for a sudden visit from the Angel of Death.
No. No. No.
Anyways, that was my discussion. They're going to probe Uranus in a story. And I have some ideas for the name of their probes.
Please don't.
Oh man.
Please.
Hey, they could go with the bowling ball for everything, because they're gonna have two in space and one in the the back door. They're gonna put one in the stink.
What do they call it? Dick Weber?
Oh no. So, what about the longest yard? One for me.
Is that what they're calling it now? The longest yard?
Holy shit.
That's funny. That's hilarious.
Oh man, I stumbled across a good one. November. Oh, this is 20. Oh, sad times. That article was on. It looks like space.com, and I clicked on Flat Earther to launch himself in a homemade steam rocket Saturday, November 22nd, 2017.
Well,
does anybody know about this guy?
Segue into some stupid criminals if you want.
Well, yeah, we can segue into that. But are you guys familiar with this? I'm trying to let's see it really read because this launch has been postponed no earlier than Tuesday after a federal agency refused to grant the stuntman permission to conduct the experiment on public land. Now moving to launch the site, privately owned land, a few miles off the road, Route 66. He told the Washington Post. A flat Earth enthusiast who claims not to believe in science plans to launch himself 1,800 feet above California's Mojave Desert in a homemade steam rocket on Saturday.
State of the world.
Oh, looks like I got some audio in there. 61-year-old Mad Mike Hughes. You guys ever heard of him?
Nope.
This is not news in any way. Mad Mike Hughes. You can look him up. There are documentaries about him. Oh, I said homemade.
Did you?
I said home fucking made. So Mad Mike Hughes.
He's been a homemade rocket idiot.
Yeah,
is he going to survive?
Keep in mind, this is an article from 2017. So he did successfully launch himself with a steam-powered rocket multiple times.
Wait, yeah, I heard about that dude then. If this is old, I heard about that. He died, didn't he?
He did die in one of his...
I was going to say, didn't he kind of splat the...
He did.
Yeah.
He went to do the same thing that blew up on him. He died from it.
It was actually in 2020. Okay, so he must have successfully launched in 2017, whatever that article was. But, let's see, February 22nd, 2020, his parachute did not deploy. I did see the video. That rocket came back to Earth as quick as it went up.
Makes sense.
But, honestly, I'm surprised. Well, how high did he get? Well, did it say like 1,600 feet when I just said?
You said 1,800 earlier.
18. Okay, so 1,800 versus the 30,000 feet that commercial jetliners fly?
Yep.
It's not bad.
Well,
this is a guy who's like, I'm going to prove the Earth is flat. And honestly...
Yeah, right.
Honestly, I think I don't think he believed the Earth was flat. I think he used that for fucking money.
Probably.
I think he used that to get people to
No, he got on. No. I heard him on a show. What show I'm not going to name, but I heard him on a satellite radio show.
He should have just gotten up on that elevator.
Oh, here we go with that elevator shit again.
Actually, anyway. Flat Earthers did prove themselves wrong with a simple helicopter and a telescope.
How many times have they proven themselves wrong?
So I seen this video a while back, about 4 or 5 months ago. Basically, what they argued was that because the Earth is flat, a helicopter taking off, flying out, I think it was 400 to 800 yards. I forget exactly how far away it was, but they flew out, and then in theory, that when the helicopter came down from its flight height down to the ground, they should be able to, with a telescope, be able to still see the helicopter. So the guy is staying where they started at. Helicopter flies over out to the distance and starts slowly going down. And the guy is looking through his telescope, and the helicopter disappears over the horizon, and it was still over 100 feet in the air. And they go, that doesn't make sense. It's like, you're right, because the Earth is round, jackass.
Yeah.
And they
he got
arguments against it.
He got on the show, and he had so many callers cussing him out and telling him he was stupid and telling him not to do the rocket thing because he was gonna kill himself eventually. And it turns out, well, he killed himself.
That's exactly what he did. Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, flat Earth is one of those things that intrigues me as much as things like Scientology, cults. You know, then again, I just raised my arm earlier today and swore myself into a cult to make sure that all the other people in my trade would, that I'd agree with upgrading my trade, but fuck it. Um,
That was random, but okay. Right.
it's a joke.
Oh, okay. All right.
But no, yeah, like flat Earth intrigues me as much as things like Scientology and QAnon. They all flow along the same lines of things. I mean, in all reality.
Goofy bashes all of them.
Yeah. Lockhart, were you carrying over to something, or is that Brow?
It was Brow.
Bro.
Yeah, so we played this last time on our last little test run of Stupid Criminals. I'm going to give you a headline, and you get to guess what state they did this in. And not all of them are going to be Florida. And I made sure of that because I picked a few that I thought was amusing.
I say 'cause it's hard, but you gotta pick a few outside that.
Yep. All right, so here we go. First one. Car thief paints his face black in attempt to escape police officers. What state?
Missouri.
Florida.
California.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
And it looks like he bought the a military grease paint to paint himself black, so it does not look good.
Oh god.
That was
Robbery
gonna save him-
suspect.
Hold on, that was going to
sorry?
save him from. That was going to save him from stealing the car.
Clearly.
No, that's how he was trying to evade police knowing who he was.
Oh, okay. The rest of his body was white, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah, his face is black. His face, ears, a neck, and like the V of where like the top of your shirt would be is all in like a black grease paint look.
But his
Or maybe
fingerprints
even
never
oil.
changed.
But his fingerprints, the rest of his body is still white, though he's got quite a few tattoos. So
Only
he's not
Robert Downey
he's not a
Jr.
first
was able
timer.
to do that.
Not a first timer. All right, here's another good one.
Only the person in Tropical Thunder or Tropic Thunder was able to get away with that. Anyway,
Robert
go
Downey
ahead.
Jr.
Yeah, right.
All right,
Okay.
so here we go. Another one. Man steals $15,000 worth of Magic the Gathering trading cards and goes to sell them at the nearest trading card store, only to be caught by the owner.
Don't cheat. I heard that typing.
No. I was just thinking,
Florida.
no, I'm thinking.
I think it's Florida.
I'm gonna go.
This one's
with,
kind of hard. I gotta admit.
I'm gonna go
It
with.
took me a minute to figure this
I'll
one
go
out.
with Maryland.
No, Ohio.
Ohio. Okay, I wasn't too far off. I was too far
Alright.
off.
Yeah,
Well,
you're.
I almost said
you're-
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, you were in the same.
You were way off. No, don't give him that.
You were in the same
No, you were
country.
off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a state and a half away.
No.
A few more than a state and a half, but yeah.
Yeah.
Close.
No.
There's Indiana and Pennsylvania and I think Virginia, but I'm not sure.
We're gonna go ahead and binge watch Schoolhouse Rock when we're done with this, so we can get caught up on all this shit. Anyway, go ahead.
Man arrested after stealing Ferrari twice.
Was it the same Ferrari?
It was the same Ferrari. The man attempted to steal it not once but twice.
Go with
failed
California.
both times.
California.
I'm gonna go with Florida again. Does that sound
No.
stupid?
No, Spur got it right this time. It was California.
Oh, look at you.
All right, 1-0.
All right. Robbery suspect caught because he locked his keys in the getaway car.
Yikes.
What kind of car was it?
I'm gonna say Mississippi.
You can tell us that.
Mississippi.
It does not say what kind of car.
Mississippi.
Let me pull the article up and see if they have
Maybe
it in the
Alabama.
actual article. No, it does not say in the article.
Mississippi.
I'll go with Chicago. Or I'm sorry, I'll go with California.
Minnesota.
I got the first letter right. Sorry, it's still 1-0.
It's still so stupid to me. Like okay, sure.
Minnesota.
All right, here's a good one, and this one is probably one of the best ones because this can fall into a couple of different states. Man attempts to shoot marijuana-laced arrow into jail for friend.
Texas.
Florida.
Nope, it's legal up there. It's Washington State.
Really? Of all places, Washington State?
Washington State had a individual attempt to get marijuana to his friend locked up in jail by firing an arrow at him.
So he got arrested then, huh?
Oh yeah, because it may be legal to buy marijuana and use marijuana, but it is not legal to fire a weapon of any kind into a jail.
Smoke weed every day.
Oh wow.
All right,
Okay.
here's the last one, and this one should be very easy in my opinion. You guys should be able to get this one. Man burns police horse with a cigarette.
Florida.
No, actually, I thought you guys would have gotten this one. This is Texas.
Wait. What?
Man burns police horse with a cigarette.
Well, let's be honest. There are police horses all over. It doesn't matter. Florida, Texas, St. Louis, New Orleans, especially a lot of New Orleans, New York, tons in New York, all over the country. So,
yes, but honestly, if I'm thinking about it, if I hear that article, my first thought is Texas because of the horses and the mounted police.
I can see
horse
it, but like British Columbia, hey, whatever.
I always wondered why horses poop is so big.
Why do horses poop? Oh, because they eat stuff.
Oh, but there's some good ones that I've seen this week. This since the last time we've done this, and like here's another one. Oklahoma police find revolver in a woman's vagina.
You'd
What?
be surprised how often it happens. Whether it be
A revolver?
entering a
Her-
prison
her-
or something. No,
Her
it
potato
happens.
chip has to be so big. It has to be so big. Her taco has to be like a monster taco. There's no way. There's
I mean,
no
Taco
way.
Bell wouldn't even be able to make that thing, man.
Yep,
To hide a whole revolver in it.
yep. It
A
does not
whole
say what kind of
You can
revolver, but it
have-
does say
there
revolver.
are smaller revolvers, yeah. So there's that. Let's
The way
hope
they
it was just
found it
another
is
that.
the handle, the butt of the revolver was barely sticking out of her vagina when she was being body cavity searched because they found meth, drug paraphernalia, and another firearm and scales inside of her vehicle when they stopped her.
Did she give birth to it? And then she was like, "Look, it's HelloFresh." Did she do that? Did she?
Doesn't give
Probably.
that much detail into it. It's just it's kind of amusing.
How do
Or-
you? It's a
Here's a good
cold
one.
piece of steel. I don't get it. Yeah.
Hey, some women like metal in there, and some women like glass. You never know. All right, I'm gonna give you this one just because I just saw this. It just popped up when I went back to this website that I found. Half naked woman tried to flee DUI scene on a toy truck.
Hold on.
What state do you think that could be?
Toy truck.
Oh, I'm gonna say
California.
Iowa.
I'll give you a hint on it. The toy truck was her child's at her brother's home.
Alabama.
Arkansas.
That is
Alabama.
a very good guess. But it is not correct. It is very close. It is Arkansas.
I just said that. That makes it two.
You didn't. I didn't hear you say anything.
I
didn't
said
hear you say
Arkansas.
anything either.
I
Oh,
said
okay, I didn't-
Arkansas, but maybe it was a
I
little
said
quiet.
Alabama.
And then
Yeah,
thought it
I
was
heard
Arkansas, 'cause
Lockhart's Alabama, and I felt
I-
so because he really did get so
Yeah.
close to that one.
Yeah, I said something else first, and then I changed it to Arkansas, and then you said it. And
Oh, okay. Well, look at you learning your states. Isn't that great? That's so nasty, though. Oh yeah, I'm doing my brother, and then trying to get away with the meth mouth.
She was more than likely going to pick her kid up, got stopped by the cops for a DUI, attempted to get away from the cops with her child's toy car.
Pow, pow, pow wheels.
What makes it worse for her, though, is the fact that she first of all was stopped for DUI. So that means she was already driving under the influence and the police suspected of it. She then went to another motorized vehicle and attempted to drive away, only to get a second count of DUI onto her.
Oh, man. Let's play rack up the charges, shall we? How many can you get? Yeah!
What it seemed like she was going for.
Wow.
Damn. That's fantastic.
Those are the stupid criminals that we've had this week.
All right.
And that shit was undigestible as a motherfucker, too.
It's too late, though. It's past 11. We're past closing time. Next time, try a little earlier.
Closing time.
We got anything else before the night's up?
Nope.
I think that closes it out, right?
Yeah, I think we're good. I think I'm done making statements.
All right. Sounds good. I mean, I got nothing. Humankind, right?
Be both.
Yeah.
Right on.
We both.
Have a good night, all. Bye-bye.
Night.